problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
Well, he
but that
shit
fucking
down.
dude hits hard.
that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Joe Rogan recently weighed in on the buzz surrounding Anthony Joshua's latest training clips ahead of the rumored matchup with Jake Paul. And Rogan didn't hold back. After seeing the leaked footage of Joshua drilling explosive combinations and grinding through sessions with elite-level trainers, Rogan said Joshua looks downright dangerous. According to Rogan, Jake Paul might finally be stepping into a situation he can't hype or talk his way out of. Joshua appears sharper, faster, and more locked than he has in a long time, and Rogan suggested that if Jake actually goes through with this fight, it could be a short and violent night. Rogan's overall take? Joshua is on another level, and Jake may be biting off far more than he can chew.
Oh. Need to get stronger.
The matchup between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is set to be an official professional heavyweight bout, following standard Queensberry rules. The contest is scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds, with both fighters required to use 10-ounce gloves. One notable stipulation is Joshua's weight cap. He must come in at 245 pounds or less, a condition intended to level the playing field. The outcome will be recorded on each man's official pro record, meaning this isn't an exhibition or a novelty fight. It's a legitimate, fully regulated showdown.
Professional bout. This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds. And people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation, which AJ would never be 290 coming in here. But 260, 270, it starts to get out of the realm of possibility of, like, what are we doing here? Even though heavyweight has no limit, I get it.
Issa Badarian, the CEO of Most Valuable Promotions and a central figure behind Jake Paul's boxing career, told Sky Sports that the December 19 clash with Anthony Joshua is shaping up to be a major worldwide event. He acknowledged that Joshua brings far more traditional boxing experience, but suggested that Paul's almost irrational level of self-belief might become an unexpected advantage. Badarian described the fight as more than a matchup. He called it a symbolic collision of two very different paths in the sport. He also revealed that their team rushed through the entire process to lock the fight in quickly, condensing negotiations and planning into a surprisingly short time frame. Badarian pushed back on the idea that this bout is a mismatch, arguing that Joshua's fight with Francis Ngannou was actually less balanced.
Weight, will there be a limit for Joshua?
So there's a lot of discussion around the weight. Joshua fought Usyk twice. Both of those times, Usyk was 221 pounds. Joshua was 240 to 245. When Jake fought Mike Tyson last year, 227 pounds. I expect Jake will come in anywhere between 225 and 230, and Anthony Joshua has a weight limit of 245 pounds.
There will be those, as you're aware, that will look at it and criticise this fight. There already have been, haven't there? They'll say it's a real mismatch. What would you say to them? Are we going to be watching sport at its purest?
I would say it's much less of a mismatch than what you saw with AJ and Francis Ngannou, who a massive man, but relatively no boxing experience. I would say it's much less of a mismatch than AJ's 9th or 10th fight against guys who've been knocked out 20 to 25 times. Given AJ's pedigree, Jake is built for this. Jake is built for the big moments. So do I think it's dangerous for Jake Paul? Absolutely. Do I think it's also dangerous for Anthony Joshua? 100%.
A number of analysts in the fight world believe Jake Paul is taking an enormous gamble by agreeing to face Anthony Joshua. Former cruiserweight title holder Lawrence Oakley cautioned that Joshua's size, strength, and physical presence alone make this matchup potentially hazardous for Paul. Two-time world champion David Benavidez also didn't sugarcoat his thoughts, saying Paul is stepping straight into a dangerous situation because Joshua has spent years competing at the highest level of the sport. In the eyes of many experts, Paul isn't just taking a risk. He's entering a fight that could go badly for him very quickly.
I give 100% respect to Jake Paul, but that's a dangerous fight for him. He probably gets knocked out, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not saying nothing bad, but Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua. You know, he's multiple-time champion, Olympic gold medalist. You know what I mean? The last time somebody stepped in the ring with him that didn't have that much boxing experience was Ngannou, and you've seen what happened to him. Yeah. But big respects to Jake Paul. It's gonna be a good card. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. And it's a good fight, man. I give 100% respect to Jake Paul for even taking that fight.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
Carl Froch has taken aim at Anthony Joshua's choice to accept a fight with Jake Paul, suggesting it looks like Joshua is cashing out rather than chasing legacy. Froch believes that after earning huge paydays and already achieving world champion status, Joshua appears more interested in securing another massive check than proving anything inside the ring. From Froch's perspective, Joshua's career accomplishments and financial comfort mean he no longer has the same incentive to pursue traditional challenges. Instead, Froch sees his high-profile crossover fight as the simplest and most profitable path Joshua could take at this stage of his career.
What else have we got to consider? Is AJ cashing out? Well, I did say a year ago when he got splattered by Daniel Dubois that he's finished now. He won't get that confidence back. He's not had any confidence, in his head. No belief for a long time. And I don't think he can get back to world level. There's a couple of new young guns now coming up and coming through. It's like a changing of the guard. And when Usyk retires, I don't know what Daniel Dubois is going to do next, but I don't know what Daniel Dubois did to him. Then he went on and lost to Usyk. But there's a few new heavyweights coming through. Moses Atalma, just to mention one. And you wouldn't start putting AJ in with any of these young up-and-comers that can punch hard, because I just don't think he's got the chance, because the ambition and the desire is going to be gone. So AJ most definitely is cashing out, and you can't fault him. Fair play to him. He's going to get a massive payday, maximise his exit route by fighting fake.
There's a portion of the boxing community that genuinely believes Jake Paul has a real chance of upsetting Anthony Joshua, and their confidence is tied to Paul's punching power. Even though he entered the sport as a social media personality, Paul has proven he can crack, dropping and stopping several opponents with the kind of shots you can't fake. Tyson Fury is one of the high-profile voices backing that idea. He recently suggested that Paul might actually be able to knock Joshua out, pointing to Paul's increasing size and strength as he settles into the heavyweight.
Do you think he can win, Jake Paul?
I think it's a possibility. No one is backing Jake Paul currently. You've seen him in the ring. You can see that he's got some knockout power. And I also believe people don't look at Joshua's last few fights. And I don't think it's going to be as big of a landslide as people feel. I feel like there's an overhand right that could easily land, and I wouldn't predict that Joshua's chin can last that. The problem is that all of the pressure's on Joshua at the moment. So Jake Paul, if he gets knocked out in 12 seconds, he should get knocked out. The problem is, as soon as Joshua starts taking damage, all of a sudden he's thinking, the world is watching me, I'm a professional fighter, and I'm getting beat off a YouTuber. All of the pressure is in Joshua, and that's a lot that can weigh on a man. You can't deny that Jake Paul has power. I think it's one of his only attributes. I think he's a very poor boxer, but what he does have is a weird technique where you don't know what
How do we know he's got power? How do we know he's got power?
He's knocked people out. Joshua has all of the world looking at him thinking you should walk him over. If it gets 2 rounds, 3 rounds inside, I think Joshua loses.
A lot of fans are framing this matchup as a modern-day David versus Goliath scenario. Jake Paul, who rose to fame through social media and fought mostly at lighter weights, is now stepping up to face Anthony Joshua, a proven heavyweight with championship credentials and a massive physical edge. With Joshua's size, strength, and elite background, he naturally fits the Goliath role. Paul, meanwhile, enters as a clear underdog.
Can't judge Anthony Joshua for getting the bag, as the kids say, for going to wherever the fight's going to take place and taking $92 million for going up against Jake Paul, right? You can't give him for that. You can't judge him for that. But don't try and tell me that this is a real professional boxing contest. I'm saying my guess is that this will be an exhibition matchup. And if it is, it'll be one hell of a show. And I'll certainly tune in. And fair play to both men because they're making an absolute goddamn killing. But what is going on? Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. It's a lose-lose for Joshua. It's a win-win for Jake Paul.
A big talking point surrounding Anthony Joshua's decision to face Jake Paul is the limited activity Joshua has had in recent years. Since dropping a split decision to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua's schedule has been relatively light. He returned to stop Robert Helenius in August 2023, followed by a win over Otto Wall in that December, and then scored a knockout against Francis Ngannou in March 2024. Even with those victories, some critics feel...
The problem for Anthony Joshua is his activity. He's only fought twice in 2 years. And one of them, he got knocked out off Daniel Dubois. That was his last fight. And a lot of people say you can only judge a fighter's quality from their last fight. And then the fight before that was a win, but it was a win against Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, if you know, he was the UFC heavyweight who's not a real boxer. And he only had one fight before that boxing fight, what he lost as well. So that's his activity in boxing. Now, Jake Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023. And one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched. And I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else. What comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. Now, come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pound versus 252 pound. We got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs.
David Hay has sounded a serious alarm about the upcoming clash between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, describing it as a potential mismatch. In an interview with Sky News, the former heavyweight champion warned that Joshua could cause severe harm to Paul and expressed real concern for the YouTuber-turned-boxer's safety. Hay even went as far as to suggest the fight could be life-threatening if Paul underestimates Joshua's combination of size, power, and experience. The physical difference between the two fighters is stark.
Is a big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet. Someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice. Although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois, he's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level, and he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale. because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar, and I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other.
Anthony Joshua is taking a significant gamble by stepping into the ring with Jake Paul. Many boxing experts aren't just worried about the outcome of the fight itself. They're concerned about the potential impact on Joshua's legacy. Former heavyweight Dave Allen warned that even taking a single hard shot from Paul could tarnish everything Joshua has accomplished in his career. Some observers see this matchup primarily as a financial move. Eddie Hearn has defended the decision by pointing out, you can't eat legacy, emphasizing the monetary upside. Still, there's growing debate over whether Joshua risks...
A lot of boxing fans will think this is a massive stain on his career and a bit of an embarrassment. Now, you two have done it. I'm sure you would both fight Jake Paul tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but we're both retired, and we'll be looking at it saying still an easy fight because he can't box, he's useless. So it's risk reward, minimum risk, massive reward. So of course we'd fight Jake.
No, but you say that it's a big risk, Carl. Big risk.
I'm not having that.
Big risk. If you don't go and annihilate him in the first 30 seconds,
yeah, it's fixed.
Can you right? It's fixed. Oh, he's pulling him round.
Yeah.
He's talking about me fighting him though. So would you think that was fixed if I didn't go and annihilate him? 11 years retired. I think that's the point George makes. He always has a little dig and says,
no, but
say
you go out there and it's a tough fight for you. You can say, well, what would you expect? I haven't boxed for 11 years. But then it's like, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Do you want that?
Nobody thinks any less.
You've got the best ending.
Yeah, I've got
to your career.
Definitely.
So,
nobody thinks any less of Mike Tyson because he lost to Jake Paul.
He was 58 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's in hospital a week before.
It's not been retired 11 years, and I'd still go in there, in my opinion, and whoop him. I don't think it'd be hard at all. So listen, he won't fight me. He's pretending he don't know who I am now, for a start. So he's thought.
How can he not know who you are?
Froch means business. How can he not know?
On the other hand, a growing number of boxing analysts and fans believe Anthony Joshua may be stepping into the ring at the peak of his abilities. Even after setbacks in his career, including 2 defeats to Alexander Usyk, Joshua has demonstrated remarkable resilience, returning stronger and more focused with each fight.
What it takes. But then sports is so psychological. Combat is so psychological. And I think the ups and downs of AJ's career have come because of the ups and downs of the psychology, you know? When AJ's on mentally, he's a different guy, man. I mean, I can remember early in his career just being this destroyer and just having this utter mean streak in there, and it would just come out of him when he would fight. You could just see it. He had that it factor, and he was so popular. I mean, and then I remember being at the Ruiz fight at the Garden, and he gets hit with like this grazing shot, never recovers, and he's gone. And this is after I watched him knock out Klitschko at Wembley, getting up off the canvas in front of a crazy crowd. So I'm like, I'm leaving the Garden then, and I'm like, what happened to this guy? What you know?
What do you think? Is Joshua making a smart move by fighting Jake Paul for the payday? Or is he risking his legacy big? Time? Drop your thoughts below to this.